All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another collaboration beer, this time between Hop Butcher for the World and Crushed by Giants Brewing Company, both out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Live from Chicago. So this is an American IPA that comes in at 6.75% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is approximately 6 weeks old, and I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to Hop Butcher and more specifically Jeremiah for hooking me up with this one. Thank you very much, good sir. I'll post a link in the description box to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Jeremiah sent my way. And this one might be the most interesting because this is not a hazy IPA. This is just a, just an American IPA, not hazy, and is brewed with Simcoe, Citra, Galaxy, and HBC 692 hops. And that's all I know about it. Now, sometimes I'll read the tasting notes here in the back, and sometimes I won't. It says fresh fruit cocktail, along with pleasant pine and sweet grapefruit. So, sounds pretty interesting. Now, I don't know much about Crushed by Giants other than I believe they have not officially opened their brewery yet, but they are located in Chicago with Hop Butcher, and yeah. Sounds pretty good to me, so let's crack this one open and get into the glass, see what we got going on. Like I said, not a hazy. Ooh, a little bit of an overfill, but it's all right. Let's give it a pour here. Yeah, not hazy. Interesting. When it comes to hazies or whatever, who cares? I mean, I shouldn't say who cares, but, don't be afraid of a non-hazy IPA. They can be super delicious. I'm usually enjoying West Coast style IPAs now a lot more because of hazies, and I don't drink them a lot. But I mean, this isn't crystal clear or anything. It has a little bit of maybe chill haze to it, but maybe just a little bit of haze in general. But it has this golden yellow color, a little bit of orange in there, good carbonation, about a finger and a half of this bright white, fluffy looking head. Looks like a fantastic beer. Just looks like a fantastic beer. I'm not saying it is. Just saying it looks like one. Let's give it a nose. Yeah, wow, that's nice. 100% sweet grapefruit. Now, it's because I probably read it, but yeah, sweet ruby red grapefruit to my nose. A little bit of pine. Ooh, underlying pineapple, mango, peach, like a very heavy stone fruit vibe. Yeah, that sweet grapefruit's really nice. It's almost like a candied grapefruit. I just want to sit here and spell that grapefruit. Like, I'm not a huge grapefruit guy. Like, if I do eat a grapefruit, it's going to be the red variety, a sweeter grapefruit. I'm not a huge fan of, white grapefruits. This smells like a white, like a ruby red grapefruit. Honestly, with, a little bit of sugar sprinkled on top. God damn, it smells good. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Jeremiah. So what this is, aftertaste, nice. To me, this is reminding me of IPAs. Not exactly of a West Coast nature, but old school, just IPAs, East Coast IPAs from 5 years ago, 5 to 7 years ago. Because they're sweeter than a West Coast IPA, but maybe not as sweet as the new school New England IPAs are. They have sweet citrus tones, a little bit of tropical, but then it has that pine, sometimes an earthiness. A little bit of an earthiness here, a little bit of a floral aspect. But to my palate, this is reminding me of an old school East Coast IPA, circa 2013 to 2015, something like that. First off, the body on this one, 6.75%, medium, lower side medium body, appropriate. The mouthfeel, it's crisp. It's relatively clean, a little bit of a lingering bitterness, but has a big effervescence quality to it. Quite spritzy and carbonated. The one thing I always say about Hop Butcher with their hop forward beers are they nailed the body and mouthfeel. This one's different from that. I mean, this is, like I said, an older school IPA, so the body and mouthfeel is completely different than a lot of their IPAs that are hazies and double IPAs. Not the same. And I like that. That's a different kind of coming in sideways, but in a good way. So body and mouthfeel, I think, are appropriate for 6.75% and kind of an old school non-hazy. The taste is I could crush this right now. Sweet grapefruit, a little bit of a pithy, bitter and grapefruit right at the forefront. Then I'm getting underlying tropical essence, pineapple, mango, peach, tropical and stone fruits, but that's underlying. And that hits right after that grapefruit character. And then middle of the palate's where that pine comes in and a bitterness comes in. It has a nice pine presence to it. I'd say like a moderate pine presence, and it finishes with a moderate bitterness. One of the more bitter beers from them that I've had, but again, it's appropriate for what I'm drinking. Yeah, the sweetness really is at the front of the palate. Probably a little bit of malt sweetness too, but that bitterness offsets it on the back end. I really can't taste the alcohol in here. It drinks extremely, extremely well and quite easy, considering that's almost 7%. To me, you know, I feel like, I haven't looked at the like Untapped ratings or anything like that, but I feel like this is going to be a sub 4 beer, probably on tap. Like most of Hop Butcher's IPAs are well above 4, like 4.1 to like 4.4, depending on the beer, because they make good beer and it's appropriate rating wise for what you're drinking, at least in my opinion, of the beers I've had from them. This one I think is going to get a little less love because it's not a hazy, because the characteristics are different from a hazy. But like I said, I'm enjoying beers like this because, let's be honest, I drink a lot of hazies on the channel, whether people send them to me, whether I buy them. I like New England style IPAs. I like them. They're one of my favorite styles. But sometimes you just get kind of burned out on them. And, you know, after taking a month of break and coming back, you know, those beers, the last, like the Tavern Cut from them that I reviewed, and a couple of the Holmes beers, they kind of hit me in a different way. Like, man, you know, it was nice to take a month break because these are like hitting a little bit better than they probably would have if I would have drank them 2 months ago. This one is also hitting a bit better too, because beers like this one, when I got into craft beer in 2010, you know, it took me a while to get into IPAs. I think it was 2012, 2013 before I started enjoying these. So 2013 to 15 is when I really started enjoying IPAs, and beers like this were kind of doing it for me because it wasn't West Coast style where it was just straight on grapefruit and pine and more of a bitterness, you know. This one has a nice balance between the sweetness and the bitterness and the fruit character and the pine. So this is what I came to enjoy being on the East Coast and drinking a lot of the East Coast IPA. So this is hitting a little bit better for me than it probably will for the majority of the people out there. I'm gonna pour the rest in here and enjoy it. So rating wise, I can't sit here and tell you this is, you know, a fucking crazy high rated beer. It's like the best beer I ever had or anything, but I think it's just hitting a little bit better for me. So I'm going to give Live from Chicago from Hop Butcher and Crushed by Giants, I'm going to give this a high 4 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.1 out of 5. I think it's a really well-made beer. I think it's a beer that a lot of people out there will enjoy. At the same time, I think you could sit back and say this is somewhat of a simplistic beer. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean there are characters here, but this is a very easy drinking, just, you know, 3 or 4 characters, kind of just fridge beer. This is a fridge beer. Kind of like I said about the Tavern Cut, this is a fridge beer in a different way for me. This would be a nice 4-pack in the fridge and just enjoy yourself. And you just want to drink an IPA that's maybe not super sweet, not in the New England style, something a little bit more old school. I think this would, you know, hit the nail on the head for most people. And yeah, I think it's good. So 4.1 out of 5 for Live from Chicago from Hop Butcher and Crushed by Giants. Good job. I mean, I can't say much more. I think I really enjoy this one quite a bit. So yeah. Anyway, price and availability. I think price point on this one was $12.99 a 4-pack. Again, Jeremiah told me there's pretty much a 3-tier pricing system. $12.99 for like the regular IPAs. I think it was $14.99 to $15.99 for their double IPAs, and then $17.99 to $18.99 for their like triples and crazy beers. So $12.99 for this, I think, is worth it. Yeah, I'd pay that every single day of the week because it's a damn good beer. So if you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. I think they did a pretty good job with this. It hides the alcohol relatively well, and this is a fridge beer. This is the definition of fridge beer. I have a couple more of these that I still need to get to. And I didn't even mention 6 weeks old. This is drinking extremely well. I'd like to see this, you know, a couple weeks old. And that's on me. I took a break. Jeremiah sent me a lot of beer, but I took a break like just after he sent me the beer. So these are a little older than he probably would want me to review them, and same for myself. But I'll tell you right now, after having Tavern Cut and having this beer and drinking them around 6 weeks old, their beer holds up extremely well. This tastes. If you would tell me this is 2 weeks old, I'd be like, yeah, no doubt. It has enough of a flavor burst and intensity that, yeah, 6 weeks old, this is still drinking extremely well. So if you still have cans of this or you see this on the shelf, don't be afraid to pick it up because it's drinking well right now. Anyway, thanks again, Jeremiah. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review. Appreciate all of the support. Until the next one. Cheers.